Okay, sorry. So like I was saying, Saturn and Sun are natural um, enemies because of the nature of them. One planet is all about light. One is about darkness. One moves slow. The other one's I wouldn't say fast, but it's not a slow moving planet like Saturn. Just the nature of them are different. Um, Saturn is dull. It's melancholy. It's lonesome and old. And the sun is bright. It's vibrant. It's exuberant. It's life. It's life force and stuff like that. But just focusing on this Saturn Sun um, square. Um, Even though these people put in the work and they're so good at it, they don't really want to. A lot of times they don't feel like they want to. Like if you've seen them expressing themselves and the person they identify in being is in conflict with that work part of them. Like you one person at work, but you other person like you're so good at work, you're so good at defeating obstruction and people are blocking you and you're so practical and efficient, but you don't want to be like not want to be. It's just when it comes to expressing yourself, it just doesn't go hand in hand with your daily routine being that disciplinary in you, because you have Sun and Taurus and Saturn and Aquarius. Saturn and Aquarius is a sign of everybody. Humanitarian. They want the big picture. They look out at the big organizations and things like that. And Taurus is about their own security. Their own security. They're about possessions. They're about money. So you see the nature of why these two planets are a conflict with each other. Their natures are different. Not only are they natural enemies, but their natures are different. The personalities that they sit, those are the things that are clashing. Okay, Saturn is an Aquarius part. Saturn is like, I need to look out for the world. I need to focus on, making the world a better place and things like that. Taurus is like, I need to make my world a better place. They're much different in nature. Aquarius is far out there. It's about reaching past the stars and seeing what's out there, being curious to times, I don't know, infinity. The stuff they think about, the eccentricity, they're not conventional, they're unconventional. Um, and then you have the bull, the Taurus, who is conventional, who is practical. Aquarius is not about practicality. It's not about doing the common sense thing. Because electricity at one point was not common sense. Now look around. So you see what I'm saying? You see the nature. That is why. That's the thing you want to focus on with the square. It's about knowing that these are two different parts of you, the Sun and Saturn, and knowing their nature. It's about understanding it. When you understand the nature of that id in us, that ego, that self-expressive like person, who this is who I am, and the disciplinary in you, the work, the hard work, the worker, the ones that say, okay, we only got a certain amount of time. Okay, if we do this, this is going to happen. If we don't do this, this is going to happen. Those two natures, those two energies are part of you. No one is bigger. No one is more important. They're just two conflicting natures in you. And that's what you need to understand. That is how you defeat or null any negative planets or placements that you might have. Like I said in the beginning, understanding and awareness will take you to over the mountain. So just understand that the sun is in Taurus. Understand the Taurian nature. I'm not saying change these things. I'm just saying understand that there's the two different natures of them. And the square, the energy of the square, that conflicting nature, it dies down, and it gets to where it doesn't. It's not as negative. The more you understand these two natures of yourself. Okay, and then Saturn aspects the MC. This little bonus I threw in for you. When planets aspect points, not just houses. Not just other planets. The MC is the highest in the sky, highest point up there that everybody has. It is the point where we do our best out in the world. Whatever the point that is, whatever house that is sitting in, whatever sign that is, and the aspects it makes to it is how the world will come to know us, how we can serve the world best. That is our highest self. In a public sense, in a public sense, while people got their eyes on you, in an overall public sense, out in the world, and what kind of effect, what kind of person you were or are in the world at large. Your public reputation is the highest point. And Saturn looks at it. So that means Saturn is going to infuse its energy into the highest point. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take organization. Everything that Saturn is. You have to be aware of time when it comes to your highest self. Like, that time is going to play into it somehow, and you have to be aware of it. You have to structure it. You have to know that there's going to be, know your consequences, know your role, know that, okay, I have to put in work. I have to put in some kind of work, and know that something is going to come from the better work you put into. For instance, if you wanted a reward, or if you just want fame or status, social status, you want some kind of promotion, or you just in general you want to be either you want to be or need to be, or will be forced to live out your that highest point. And Saturn, looking at it, it trines it. So everything that you're doing in the workplace, in your daily routine, supports that. So keep doing it. Remember that part, that Saturnine part that says, okay, we need to be focused. We need to be disciplined. I need to be disciplined. I'm gonna make notes, or I'm gonna make whatever, blah blah blah, like that, and I'm gonna follow each one of these notes piece by piece, part by part, exactly. That nature in you supports your highest self. And it makes it easier, because that's what the trine is. The trine makes things easy. It makes it easy for you to excel in life. Now, Mars. Last planet Mars we're going to do for this segment sits in Pisces in the 7th house. And from there, Mars rules the 8th house and the 3rd house. Mars is the fire in us. It can be anger or rage. It is the actual physical energy. I think rage or is just unexpressed or misdirected energy. You know how they be like, take it out on the punching bag. Yeah, I think rage is a shadow side of energy. Because when you get out of rage and you get crazy enough, you start throwing shit all over the room. You start kicking stuff, and that's energy. Start throwing remote controllers, kicking stuff. But so that's a little bit what Mars is. Mars is the masculine sexuality in us. Mars is that part of us that gets turned on, whether to an idea, to a project, or to someone else. It gets our blood flowing. That's Mars. Get your blood flowing. Get you all energetic and ready to do something. I want to take action. Let's do it. Let's go. Mars is action. Mars is action oriented. They're not too into, okay, let's think this through. Okay, do we really want, okay, yeah. Let's no, that's not good. No, Mars is like, okay, that's what we're doing. All right, let's go do it. I want to think it through. And so and Mars is the planet of your efforts, because your efforts comes through energy. I mean your actual physical efforts. Okay, so Mars and Pisces. Pisces is the other is the other world. The distant world. Huge, vast masses of ocean, of water. Pisces is it's like the merge between the real world and the other side. And in the middle is Pisces, where you're just sort of not here and you hear a little bit, but you're not here and you hear a little bit. That's why it's like people who drink or get high or something like that, they get into a Piscean attitude, if you will. Everything's just flowing and just flow around over here and yeah, that's Pisces. They're aware. Pisces is a sign that is aware that everything is one, everything is connected, and I guess when some people get high off of certain stuff, they can see this realization. Like they're just the nicest people to be around, or they just have epiphanies sometimes. And people sometimes they think they're crazy or some stuff like this. Like, what are you talking about? The birds and the eagles and the elephants, just esoteric. Like what are you talking about? Far out stuff. Because Pisces is the ruler, the natural place of the 12th house of everything like otherworldly. So wherever Pisces comes is going to take all of the energy of the 7th house to the house it sits in. And it sits in the 7th house for Mars. And Pisces body part I've read the most is represented by the feet. So right off back, these people made excellent dancers because the energy goes through into their feet. Energy comes out through the feet. Pisces is also a artistic sign, along with Libra and Taurus and probably some other signs I'm forgetting, but Pisces is one of them. Our artistry, our artistic sign. So definitely somebody who can dance, who just they just have it in their feet. They know how to move their feet, and a lot of energy comes out through their feet. Um, Remember, I said Mars is energy, is rage. So when these people get mad, it's like you're not gonna notice it, because that's what Pisces is. You may feel it. It may be like an intuitive thing, but they'll never outright show it, because Pisces is a sign of indirectivity. They don't want to go about right straightforward like Aries, like the Martian nature is. That's why Mars in Pisces is not, as far as going out and when you have to be like go straight forward and be courageous and stuff like that. Mars is like, uh, uh, let's find a way around. Now, if Jupiter is placed good, um, you know, it'll be easier for Mars. And for this person, I'll give you another little bonus. Jupiter, I wouldn't normally do this, but Jupiter is in Virgo. Remember what I said about Virgo? What I said about Jupiter being in Virgo. That is what Mars is going to be based off of. Whether you can go and charge and go straight forward and take action and be sure and be courageous and stuff like that. It's going to be based off that Jupiter in Virgo. Now, if you do the Neptune, which I don't have Neptune here, then that's another story. I'm just saying Jupiter because at least if you're doing Neptune as the lord of Pisces, the ruling planet, Jupiter is also one of the co-ruling planets. So I'm going to stick with Jupiter. And like I said, I keep going back to, the better you get at Jupiter and Virgo things, the bigger your fourth house, seventh house, and Mars is going to be, because Jupiter rules all those things and houses. It's called dispositors. Jupiter is the dispositive of Mars. Mars is looking to Jupiter for its energy, for its stability, how good it's going to do. So that means you have to get good at Jupiter and Virgo things. And that's going to affect Mars. How good or bad Mars does. Like, sometimes you have to be direct with people. You can do it with tact, but sometimes you have to confront people, which is also a Martian thing, confrontation. And it's all going to be based off how well you practice, how well you do Jupiter and Virgo things, how good you get at it, believing in yourself, believing in the work you have put into yourself. Belief, Jupiter. Work, Virgo. Yourself, first house. So that's what Mars is going to be based off of. Because I really wanted to go into this, because I've seen people with, maybe not have Mars and Pisces, but they exhibit that energy. Like, people take them for advantage of them. People walk over them, and their sense of masculinity, or their sense of might, sense of energy, their sense of courage is crushed. Is he just wants to stay in the background, which is also Pisces. They're in background in the smoke, away from everything and everybody, just in this remote world. But the good things about Mars and Pisces is that they have some of the best imagination out there, and they put it into work. Like they'll they'll get inspired by something, which is also Pisces. It's a Piscean thing. And they'll put their action, when they put their action into something, it inspires. Like, this is the person that might, I don't know. This is the warrior, it'll just be him, and he got to go out and fight the whole crowd. The opposite, to defend his nation or something like that. And that inspires other people. These people take action to inspire others, if not on purpose, then subconsciously. But that's what it ends up doing. The action they take inspires. And they take action in a very inspiring way, a very impressionable way. Like, they want to leave an impression on people. Whatever they do, whatever fight they pick, because that's what Mars is as well, fight or flight. Whatever fight they pick, but basically whatever they do, whatever their sexuality is, they want to leave an impression on people, and they do. Mars this is a sign of a psychic ability, intuition. So that's what Mars does. It doesn't really think in the first place. But here, Mars it'll get their instincts, their impulses, which is also Mars. It'll seemingly be from another world. And it'll just come in through them. Intuitive action is what I'm saying. It'll just like a bolt hit you from the galactic center or something like that. An invisible bolt hit you, and you were also all of a sudden had the impulse to do something. That's where your action, your impulses, your instincts come from. This seemingly other realm. So they have intuitive impulses. They just feel something from some distant place, but they feel something in themselves. Like, it's nothing out in the world. It's nobody else. It's no feelings that I'm feeling. Nothing like that made me do this. I just felt like I had to do it. It was intuition. That's what people with this placement will probably say. I don't know. I just felt like I had to do it. It's like it just came to me. Like through some spirit, also Pisces. Spiritual side, the spiritual world. And you feel like, man, the spirit just moved me to go and do this. Now, Mars is in the 7th house. And Mars in the 7th house, we already know what 7th house is. Now, Mars comes and expresses itself in the 7th house. And Mars rules the 8th house and the 3rd house. So Mars in the 7th house is about actively going out and making that contract, making that agreement, actively going out and doing things for the marriage that are either going to help it or hinder it. Like these people, like if somebody's, like they married to somebody, when they're in a relationship with someone and they're in conflict, they'll either do one of two things. They're actually going to go out and buy the roses, do this. They're going to take action. They're going to go out and buy the roses. They're going to go and get the movies, the popcorn, whatever, stuff like that. Or they'll start an argument. Because Mars is confrontation, and it sits in the 7th house. Or like, they'll be in a confrontation, and Mars will just grab a radio and throw it out the window. You see what's happening. Energy is going into keeping a balance in the relationship, in the marriage, in your relationship with other people, in your business partnerships. And Mars sitting in the seventh house, these people will go out and actually fight for their wife, their husband, their business partnership. I mean, even in the corporate world, if Mars is not doing good, these people get into it, all kind of personal fights with, they even pick fights with the, somebody who, some other company that might be messing with the merger, or messing with the businesses, I don't know, PR, the public relationships or something like that. Like, they'll go out and actually start fights with them, and you go out, stuff like that. Or Mars will say, okay, we need to make this deal. The same thing like in relationships. We need to make this deal. Okay, I am going to, and Mars can, for some reason, somebody can't walk somewhere, and it's a far walk, or like it's just unheard of kind of things. Mars will get and do whatever it has to do to make the partnership. It will go and steal somebody else's car, or it'll use its own car. I'm not saying it's all bad things. It'll use its own car, and when a car runs out of gas, it'll walk. Mars will do what it gotta do to make that partnership, to make that business deal, to make that commitment solid, and keep it level and balanced. Mars pours its energy into these things, into people. So aspects with Mars, it has one opposition to the ascendant, and is squared up against the MC, the highest point. So when Mars is squared up to the ascendant, everything I was just saying, it does, like, man, I don't want to present myself that way. That's how these people feel. I didn't want to do that. Like, you might go, like, you might, there's just the opposite. Like, one part of you wants to do this, other part wants to do the complete opposite. So with Virgo ascendant and Mars being in the seventh house in Pisces, Virgo might say, okay, let's talk this through. What has been working? What can we do? What things have worked for other people in the past to work on our marriage, or something like that. When the Mars part has already, that's what you're thinking. That's the personality, the attitude you have, the viewpoint you have, the temperament you have, right? All of that stuff. Let's think this through. Let's take our time. Let's think it through. Let's use the most practical things. Let's go by the book. Let's do this by the book. Mars in the seventh house has done the completely opposite of that. Like, okay, let's go by the book. That's how you feel. It's your attitude, but your actions are showing something else, completely opposite. That's what happens when Mars and the ascendant oppose each other. Your attitude is one thing, your viewpoint is one thing, but the actions you're taking is completely opposite. And again, I cannot stress this enough. The solution to any, and this is from my experience, my own experience, the solution to any bad aspect you have, bad placement, bad angle, anything, is to be aware of it. Understand why it's happening. I've just explained to you why it's happening. You have this opposition in you. It's not that you're a bad person. It's just that you're not aware, or you don't understand why these two energies, or why these things are happening. Mars is energy. your physical actions, the actions you take, your courage, all those things I said Mars is. The ascendant is your attitude. It is your viewpoint, your overall viewpoint, your overall orientation towards life. How you look at life, how you want people to look at you, but take it from anything, it's your attitude. And basically what's happened in this aspect is your attitude and your actions are going in completely opposite directions. They're in opposite directions. So when you understand this, you maybe adjust either your ascendant or your Mars, or just be aware of what you're doing. Just being aware of it, you'll start to be. It'll a psychological thing will happen, and you'll say, okay, I'm doing this thing, but I feel this way. What is going on? And you'll begin to change for the better. Or you just won't do those things, that the actions that are, opposing your viewpoint, or you adjust your viewpoint to your actions. See what I'm saying? Either one is going to come. Now you have the awareness. Okay, and then Mars aspects the MC. The mid-heaven. I forget what it stands for. Medium Coeli? I don't know. But the highest point, that highest self that the public world sees. And Mars, they conflict each other. So again, the person who you want to be to the highest of standards, that social status, that reputation, that highest self that the world can see, and that the effect that you've had over the world, what the world has become to know you as at your highest self, and the actions you're taking are conflicting with each other. So you want to be one person, you want your higher self to be one person. Is it good? You want your higher self to be one person, one point. But what you're doing in your marriage, what you're doing in your partnerships, what you're doing in your relationships with other people, are they're just not supporting each other. They're in conflict with each other. So it's like, okay, for example, here's two ways it can go. You want to be, a movie star or something like that. You want to be a movie star. And you want to be a movie star, but you're not doing anything, you're not taking any actions to even try and find the right people. I'm just giving you an example. Like, you don't go out in court and make business partnerships or relationships with people who are going to bring you closer toward that. Or let's say you want to play a certain role in movies, but what you do in your marriage, like say you wanted to be this perfect guy in the roles in movies that you play, but what you're doing in your actual marriage, everybody can see it. Remember the MC, everybody can see what's going on. What you're doing in your actual marriage is not the opposite of that, but it's conflict in it. Like, you want to be this guy, but you're cheating. So you're not going to get those roles. You see how they conflicting with each other and what happens. Another example is, like, you say you got a promotion or you got in a part or something like that, What Mars is squaring it. What Mars will do is you'll do something to mess it up. You'll take an action towards others, to someone in a marketplace, one of your business partners, or someone in your marriage, someone in significant other to you. You'll do something to sabotage that promotion you just got, and you'll lose it. So just watch this stuff. Just be aware of this stuff and what's going on. And from there, that's where you'll find a solution. If one point doesn't, one part of you doesn't say, okay, I need to merge this thing. I need to find a way to do this better. The other part will. That's what awareness and understanding does. All right. Oh, and I forgot to touch on two things. I almost forgot. House rulerships for Saturn and Mars. I'm going to make this short and sweet. But Saturn for Virgo Ascendant rules the 5th and 6th house. And 6th and the 6th house. And so this is how I'm going to do it. Like I did Jupiter. Since Saturn rules the 5th house is self-expression. It's the house of fun. It's the house of sports. It's where you come to express yourself and have fun and be free, be a kid, whatever. It's the house of romance. Romance is a form of self-expression. It's a house of your hobbies, like sports, dance, theater, music, arts. The arts. It is the stage of the 12 houses. 12 houses is where you come on stage, where you're actually on an actual stage, or where you feel like wherever you're at is a stage. Like here, basically, I'm at home, but I'm not on an actual stage in a entertainment hall somewhere. This is my stage though, because I'm performing wherever you perform, and people are watching you, and you have an audience watching you. That's a stage. So that's the 5th house. And Lord of the 5th house, which is Saturn, goes into the 6th house. You already know what 6th house is. 6th house is routine life, your daily obligations, your daily struggle, your daily grind, things you have to get up and do every single day. It is a house where we perfect ourselves, where we try and be as best as we can through practice and become efficient and skilled at something. It is a house of, like I said, obstructions, anybody or anything that's holding you back to getting where you're going to go. Health consciousness. So when you have the Lord of the 5th house going into the 6th house, that means you bring your capacity for fun to work. You have fun at work.